views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. Thank you for doing that. What a great show we just had. And so we're in the process of, reaching my next guest here, as Benny will probably be doing here in a minute. But a couple things that I'm glad that I'm connecting with all of you about. One is that how do we look at, in the conversation we had before, I asked the question of meaning. And what I said by that is, how do we find meaning? And that's an interesting question. We didn't have time to talk about that. Part of that is that are we in search of meaning? And I one of the books that I got to read, and probably later in life than many of you had heard about, is I got to read about the books written by Viktor Frankl. And I don't know if you know who Viktor Frankl is, so let me just take a minute here while we are waiting for my guest to join us here today. I was introduced to the work of Viktor Frankl, and I actually talked about it at a networking meeting this morning, about the fact that someone saw how I was struggling in my 30s. And I guess there wasn't going to be much that I was going to say or much that I was going to be able to do. And so what they did is they said to me, have you heard about, somebody, this author named Viktor Frankl? And I said, no, I hadn't heard about Viktor Frankl. And they said, you got to really research this. Now, nowadays we have Google, we have a bunch of things, right? And so it's not a matter of me like stepping out and kind of saying, Viktor Frankl. Now what's going to happen is here we go. And what we're saying is, let's Google it. And today in the world, I do Google this. And I even found, after I Googled Viktor Frankl, I even found that there is a very rare clip of Viktor Frankl. And I thought to myself, I am going to do a show. And I would love to talk about the life and the journey of this man, this Viktor Frankl. And so let me just tell you a little bit about this here in a minute, if we could. Here's what I want to say. Today in the world we live in, and this is what I want to say to all of you out there. Today in the world we live in, we go through trials, we go through tribulations, we have things that pop up in our lives that we don't know much about and we don't know how to do. And I remember being at a really not good time in my life when my friend said to me at the time, you need to read Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. Man's Search for Meaning. And I thought, okay, I'm going to find out about this. So here's what I find out about Viktor Frankl. This is somebody that was an Australian neurologist, right? And psychiatrist, as well as a Holocaust survivor. And he was the founder of logotherapy, which is a form of existential analysis. And, this was all part of the Third Viennese School of Psychotherapy. His best-selling book, Man's Search for Meaning, was published under a different title in 1959. And that was called From Death Camp to Existentialism. I guess the publishers didn't think that would be a cool way to go. So this is what I love about publishing, right? And, off we go. And of course, it was published in a different language. But this book was literally handed to me. And I cannot tell you how much this changed my life. And to this day, it changes my life. And I wanted to talk about it today. I understand there may be a glitch in my guest that was scheduled to join us here. But my guest's book was Mindfulness on the Run. And I want to take this opportunity because what I want to do today is I want to bring to all of you a message. And this is the message I want to bring. And I was really reminded of this message for those of you out there. I was really reminded of this message. And I would like this to be a show where you all join me in this. Here we are in the world, and people ask me things like, I'll tell you what I get asked. I get asked a lot of things about how did you start the radio? What did you do? Why did you do it? All of those things. What happened when you got sick in 2004? How did you get through it? All of the above. And so for me, I get to step back and look at my life and think about the things that I've been most influenced by. So here's what I want to say is that I want to share some of the things that influenced me in my life. And that is that there have been people that have shown up in my life that I cannot absolutely explain to all of you listening why they show up and how they showed up. And so I know that there's some magic and mystery to this. But the one thing I want to say is that I learned so much about my life and understanding it from reading the work of Viktor Frankl. One of you just pinged me. I'll spell it. It's not what you think, but if you Googled it, you'll get it. It's Viktor Frankl, Frankl. And this man was someone that survived the concentration camps when the people around him did not. And so what do we know about Viktor Frankl? What do we know about his life? What do we know about his work? Well, I'll tell you that before his stay in the concentration camp, he was a general practitioner in a clinic. He used his psychiatry, he used his skills to help people, mental health care. I mean, in so many ways, this man was a pioneer. Not to mention what I'm about to share with you here. I get fired up on this. So I hope you all are listening to this show because I'm telling you, I'm fired up on this today. And, when I think about him from 1933 to 1937, just to give you an idea of the time frame I'm talking about, right? 1933, 1937, he completed his residency, right? So here he is. He is this man that went to school, was committed to his craft, looked at how he decided to offer counseling. By the way, when I look at Viktor Frankl, folks, this is the man that wrote the book on Pay It Forward. He offered a special program, to counsel high school students free of charge, right? You know what year this was? 1928 to 1930. 1928. And listen to this. This is like the crazy part of this. You could tell I get a little passionate about this because I'm going to ask you all to participate because we're going to make this a group thing here today. And here's what I learned about him before he experienced the concentration camps, okay? Here he is. He got the report cards, right, from the students, right? Not a single Viennese student committed suicide, right? So the success of this program grabbed the attention of so many people. He was invited then to Berlin. Off he goes to Berlin, right? Completed his residency. He goes, right? Responsible for the so-called, I can't say the word, but let's call it in English, suicide pavilion. Here he treated more than, are you ready for this? This is 1937, right? 30,000 women who had suicidal tendencies. 30,000 women who had suicidal tendencies. In 1937, he established an independent private practice in neurology and psychiatry in Vienna. And then there we go. Beginning with the Nazi takeover in Austria in 1938, he was prohibited from treating, the word Aryan patients due to his Jewish identity. In 1940, he started working at the Rothschild Hospital, where he was headed into the neurological department. It was the only one in Vienna to which Jews were still admitted. Okay? And so here's what I want to say about this. Here's what I want to say about this. I can't think of a single individual that I can think of that has affected my life in a way that Viktor Frankl has. And so today's show, because my guest, I guess we were not able to reach her, today's show is to look at the body of work of Viktor Frankl and to think about what it is that we can call forth of his teachings and his writings and what he left behind. Now, I haven't even begun to talk about the most profoundly effect that the body of work, the book that he wrote to share his experience, had on me and countless others. There's a reason that this book was a best-selling book. There are more quotes in that book from Viktor Frankl and then subsequent books that he had written that have literally grabbed people to save their lives. Grab people to save their lives. And so here we are today, and we're looking at the world of somebody that by all logical, rational, anything that you could put on paper should not have survived that camp. In October 1944, Frankl and his wife were transported to Auschwitz concentration camp. He was processed there. He was then moved to Kaufring, a camp affiliated with Dachau. And he went on to spend 5 months working as a slave laborer. And I wanted to say to him, this was him. This was somebody that had such a profound effect in the world of psychology and the work that he did. And this is where he ended up. And so here we are. We're looking at somebody by all events that you can muster up and all thoughts you may have should have never made it out of that camp. How did he do it? How did he get out of the camp? What was it about his life that changed? And so, this is for me, sharing with you, no matter what's going on in your life, there are things that you can do to make your life better. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to the Angels and Answers Psychic Radio Show with clairvoyants Artie Hoffman and Sky Siegel every Thursday for a 2-hour show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio. Artie and Sky deliver spiritual and motivational messages with passion and a sense of humor. Call in 800-930-2819 for live and on-air readings. Visit artiehoffman.com and skyofangels.com.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Almost everyone at some time in their lives ask themselves, what am I? Most of our questions are ego-generated and simply don't address the problem of our false self. It's time to relax your ego and embody your soul. Dr. Dan Cohen, neurologist, inventor, and author, has created tools to awaken a new way to transform from who you thought you were into what you truly are. Visit toolstoawaken.com today.
In your last goodbye, please forgive me for my sins. Yes, I swam dirty waters, but you pushed me.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's so great to be tuning you all in and having you join us here today. I am really thrilled to be taking this time and opportunity to be talking with all of you before we bring on, our guest today to talk about mindfulness on the run. And I was sharing this because something fascinating happened to me this morning. And I was asked about forgiveness. And what I mean by that is somebody said to me, how do you talk about forgiveness, Pat? What do you think about forgiveness? And so my answer was not one that I can really get done in the next 10 minutes or so, or 8 minutes or so. But I'm so struck by the work of Viktor Frankl. And if any of you have ever read the book, or at least one of his books, one of the things that I'm really struck by more than I can even imagine are how jam-packed the book is with phrases and statements of not only how he survived, but what his mindset was during the most horrific years anybody can imagine. One of my all-time favorites is a quote from him in Man's Search for Meaning, is those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. And what he's saying is, in so many words that we've heard so often, is what is it that pulls us forward? And if you have that thing that's pulling you forward, then whatever is going on with your life, the how of it becomes really secondary. And I was struck by this in so many ways, because when I think about what he went through, and I think about what his life was, and as he watched the people around him die, not make it, then I'm just shocked by the wisdom. One of the things he also said is an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal behavior. And I thought, what? An abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal behavior. And, these are just parts of some of the wisdom that he shared. But when you read his story and his journey, when you read what literally pulled him forward, then the profound impact of his work, at least on me, I believe has helped me to be where I am today, and why I'm so committed to a network that is all positive talk. And, people say to me, Pat, you're living in the dark ages, girl. You need to get on board. Positive talk. Do you really think people want to listen to solution-based radio? Do you really think that you're going to keep anybody's attention, let alone just with your show? But now you want to create a network with 10 independent channels: God Talk, Psychic Talk, Cosmos Radio, Green Talk Radio, Soulmate Radio. I mean, yeah, those are the channels that we're putting together. Why? Because I was influenced by the work of Viktor Frankl. I do believe that there is something for each of us to do in this world. Here, one of the other things he said is, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. I love that. When we are no longer able to change the situations, we are challenged to change ourselves. You know what? I'm not at that place yet. I don't believe that I am unable to change the situation. I really don't. I believe that myself and the team here, that we are on a mission. And there's a reason why we held back on our crowdfunding initiative. We wanted to come back to our center before we did it. When we said we were going to launch Take Back Talk Radio, people were like, wow, Pat, that's a little aggressive, isn't it? And I thought, wow, maybe I should back off a little about it. Maybe I should, and finally what we said is, wait a minute, this is now true. In the United States, almost all media is owned by 2 companies. So there's nothing really aggressive about saying we need to take back talk radio. So we're providing radio in ways that people want to hear it, and do it at a cost-effective rate. When all is said and done, when we launch our crowdfunding and we build our platform, literally we'll be able to reduce the cost of hosting any show to $1. And there are reasons that we believe we can do that. For those of you that are hearing us on the show now, I wish I could say that, here I am on the networks I am because they love us so much that they decided, yeah, let's pop you up for free. No, we pay thousands of dollars to be on air that you're listening to us now. And so when we launch our campaign, what we're saying is that, listen, we are not in this place where we're not able to change a situation yet. We're not there yet, as Viktor Frankl said. But how we approach this is going to be one of expansiveness. And I'm on Viktor Frankl today. Something else that he said that really, for me, it just blows me away. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, and woman too. And that is the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. This came from a man that saw people die to the left of him, die to the right of him. Atrocities that many of us can't even begin to imagine. So here's the thing and I'm going to end with this and go to break. Here's the thing that he said that I read, and I have to tell you, I must say I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes. For those of you that have been listening to the show for decades, I'm a little slow in the uptake sometimes. But here's something I want to leave you with. This is from Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. It chokes me up even to talk about it. Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one person's dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen, and the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. I want you to listen to what your conscience commands you to do and go on to carry it out to the best of your knowledge. Then you will live to see that in the long run, I say, success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think about it. Viktor Frankl. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.